everyone, it's Purpleon, and this is the third time I'm recording this video because OBS is being really bad. Okay, so you got on the left your tools options. So the main one for digital artists is the brush. Simple, right? It's just sort of move it around, draw stuff, and yeah, that was a person's face. Okay, sorry, I'm just being tired after recording 2 other ones, but then files got destroyed. Oh well, so yeah, here's your brush, basic, and you got your line tool, your square tool, circle tool, polygon tool, this is pretty much the same tool, and your symmetry tool. Then here is an important one. So say you have a circle or something, you want to move the circle around, so you go to the move tool and you would move it around. Here's your gradient tool. Oops. Here's your gradient tool. So it's sort of this is sort of like the basic sort of so this is what the gradient tool is like. So say I wanted to make like a gray gradient. Oh, that's actually pretty simple. Say I wanted to make a blue gradient, that's how it would look like. And say I wanted to make 2 colors in the gradient rather than it becoming transparent, I would go to this button, edit, I would select this point, opacity 1, stop, and then you would choose your color that you're using. So say I wanted a really saturated blue, I would pick that, and that's what the gradient would look like. So if I were to make a gradient, it would look like that. Here is your eyedropper tool. So say you have that gradient and you wanted to pick a certain color, like right in the middle. As you can see here, the color changes. So that makes it easier to pick a color. So for instance, if I had gotten that color, but I wanted to get that color again, I don't want to go manually through and select it. So I would go here, and that would be what the gradient tool does. And then here is the fill tool. So it basically just fills your screen with whatever color is selected. Here is your selection tool. So say I have a bunch of lines and I wanted to move them around. So I would select the area I want to move around. I would use the move tool and I would move it around. But make sure you're working on another layer, and I will be talking about layers in a moment. Here is your wand tool, which is pretty helpful. Not right now, but I will tell you later. So it basically selects everything around, and say I had brush and I hit select, it would select around the brush. So now on the right side you have your advanced color selector, which is self-explanatory. It helps you select the color. So I can have like a really bright red, a pale blue, dark purple, it's really dark purple. Here is your tool options. Some tools, there are a lot of options, such as the gradient tool or selection tools. For the gradient tool, say you don't want the shape to be just a line, just straight across. So you want it to be a circle. You go to shape, shape radial, and it'd make a more circular sort of gradient. Also square, and yeah. It also goes around the canvas. And you also have a reverse option. For the brush, it's just the how you want the brush to work. So say I wanted a nice smooth line, and I wanted it to just sort of drag behind. Or weighted would be like it's slightly behind, but you can't really tell. If you want none, then it just moves as you move. There are a lot of things for tool options. For example, here, if I select here, so say I select this, but if I try to select more of it, say I try to select more of it, the selection, it just sort of disappears. To fix that, I would go to Action, and then I would hit this button, I'm pretty sure. I would hit this third button, and I make a selection, but if I make another one, it adds on. And the opposite is for this. Or, well, yes, it inverses the selection, so it does the opposite. Here is your overview. So the overview, it's a really helpful window or panel. It's a really helpful panel, and I would recommend that you keep it here because you can move around your canvas easier, and you can zoom in or out. And if you say you're like really zoomed in and you want to quickly look out and look in, or say you want to take a step back, you would go like that. So here is your layers. Sorry, just tired. It's the third time I'm recording this. So here's your layers. So it says layer 6 because this is the billionth layer I've made. But anyways, say I had this really big line, and I didn't want to erase these lines or something. So say I have this sort of mixture of things, and I draw a line over it, and I want to erase that line. I end up erasing what's in the background as well. To be able to avoid this, you can add a new layer by clicking this plus button, and you can draw on top and also erase it without erasing what's on the bottom layer. Layers are really useful, and I recommend you use them. Channels aren't necessary, but I will talk about how to add and remove the docs later. Here are your brush presets, so that way you can use a bunch of different brushes. Like right now I have this one selected, but say I wanted to have a transparent end, I would go with that. Or if I want to have a more sketchy sort of brush, a thinner one, transparent and thin. There are a bunch of different options, and I recommend experimenting with them for yourself. Brush preset history shows you what brushes you have used, so that way you don't have to go back and search for it. And now I will talk about how to add and remove the windows. So say I don't want channels. I would go to where the X is, and I would click on it, and it just sort of disappears. Not exactly disappears, I'll get to that, but I also don't need brush history, so I will click that out. But say I wanted the channels back for some reason. I would go to settings, Dockers, and then here are the ones that are checkmarked are the ones that are already showing up. Like I have the advanced color selector right there, but I want channels, so if I click that, channels will show up right here, but I don't want that, so there. And say you want to move around your different windows and things. You would go to, so say I wanted the tool option to instead be by the brush presets. I would click this, and I will move it over brush presets. I will let go, and it shows up like that. Same goes for layers. Sometimes you can just select it, but if you can't move it like that, you go there, becomes its own window, and you can add it like that, which is good because your advanced color selector is much larger, so it you can have more selection of color, and then this window is also a lot bigger, so you can view more. And say I wanted this to be bigger. I wanted this area to come out more. I would click this and drag it out. Same goes for this side. Say I want it to go here. Works like that. Or if I want it to be all the way at the very edge, it can go like that. But since I want it to be just as much space as possible, I like there to be 2 rows. Now that you have everything where you want it to be, you'll probably want to save it. And because if you don't save it and exit Krita, then everything that you have so far will be gone. So to save this workspace, you go to Window, Workspace, New Workspace, and I will call it New Default Workspace. And there it is. You see I already have one because I did this already, and I'm tired, and I already did 2 other ones. So yes, these are all your pre-made workspaces. So you have your animation, because Krita has animation available, and I will talk about this in a different video. You have your big paint. So say you're doing a big digital painting of something, then you would use this. There's another one for painting, big paint too. You have a bunch of other ones, but for now we'll go to this. So now I'm going to talk about a bit more about the wand tool, this tool. So say I want to fill in this cat without having to color it in like this. There are 2 options. Well, 2 options I'm going to share with you. So you can add a new layer underneath your layer with the lines. You can go to the fill tool and fill it in, but it isn't as neat, because if you want to hide the layer, then it's like that, and try to get that, it's a lot harder. And then there are also, if you look close enough, there are these lines, and you don't want the lines. So, as an alternate way of filling in the cat, you can go use the wand tool. Now another way to fill in the cat is to use the wand tool. So you would select the outside, go to select, shrink selection by 2, because 1 usually isn't enough. So now you can see the selection has gone from like around here to right there. So now if you hide this layer, because if it's still visible and you try to fill it, it does the same thing. But we don't want that. So you have to hide the layer, use the fill tool, unhide the layer, and you've got your cat. If there's you can deselect after. But if there are details which you can't exactly use with the wand tool or the fill tool, because say you have like green, you want green eyes for the cat. You can't exactly go like that, or else the cat sort of turns green. You can go use the brush tool, which goes against what I said before, but this is if there are loose things that you can't cover with any tool. So I hope you have an understanding of the basic layout of Krita. I will make future drawing tutorials and other tutorials in the future, and feel free to leave requests in the comments. Goodbye everyone, it was Purpleon for the 3rd time, so have a good day.